Hi, I am Cheryl Beachy Stauffer, CEO of Crimson Design Group. Today, I am in Columbus, Ohio, where we are based. We are a full-service interior design firm focusing on residential, multifamily, senior living, and hospitality, and we are working all over the country. I was the oldest of four, and when my family moved to the United States, we had nothing. And so I started helping out with the family, and I started realizing, like, if I want anything, I'm going to need to work. So at age 12, I knew that I'm going to own my own business. I want to be my own boss. And so it took me a little while to figure that out, but I knew entrepreneurship was really in my heart. And I started college as a business major and realized really quick it was way too much math. And I should have listened to my mother, who said, go into interior design, when I was in high school. And so really fast tracked, found a school that I could study design and business. We work with residential clients who own, multiple homes, but then also we work with developers, architects, owners of companies. And, I would say 70% of our work this year is in the commercial world and 30% is residential. Through COVID, it was really 50-50, like $100,000 difference, so close. And so having the residential and the commercial has really helped us with the ebbs and flows of the economy and helped us really sustain and be able to pivot. I love color. I think growing up in Paraguay, the dirt was bright red, and I think just subconsciously, and then growing up in a world that was like void of color as I moved to the US, I think it just always takes me back to my roots. And I'm married to Latin, and I always tell my girls, like, I'm really brown on the inside. And so I think, like, red is a color of passion, right? And so Crimson was really just formed based on, like, hey, I didn't want my name in my company, in the name of my company, because I wanted it to be so much bigger than just myself. And it gave us opportunity to focus not just on interiors, but gives us, the option to grow in different aspects and different mediums. And so really that was color, passion, and, let's make ourselves bigger than what we were. We always want to tell the client's story. So we really are looking at who are the people that we're designing for and how can we tell their story. And they live colorful lives. And so we really want to bring in color. We want to push them out of their comfort zone to a place where, being comfortable in the uncomfortable. And we do that as well with design. So we love pattern, we love color. Can we do all white interiors? For sure, and we do, but it's really not what we're known for. People come to us who want to stand apart. They want to be different. They want something that has a lot of detail. We're really focused on the detail of the entire room, down to like the draperies, to the upholstery and the nail head on the upholstery. So really thinking through everything and making sure that the hospitality and the experience goes along with the design. Like, really, it's about the Crimson experience and that the client is getting that experience all the way through. About 12 years ago, we really started looking at, like, how can we make a bigger global impact? And the philanthropy really was what kind of kick-started that. Like, how can we marry the very wealthy that we work with, but also seeing the other side of the world who doesn't have as much, and how can I merge like those two worlds that I feel like I live in between. And so the giving back was just really a part of what drove me as a person, how I grew up, seeing people for who they are. And it's just really become a big part of our company. We've started Crimson Foundation and have been able to do, a lot of work with other organizations here in Columbus and across the globe. So it's a big part of what I think gives my work meaning. Some countries we're working from like a giving back perspective. One of my big goals is to be able to work with other women and do some micro lending so that they can also then start their business. And maybe it's a business in design, or maybe they're an artisan that really, if we kind of reimagine what the product that they were designing had more of a modern take on it, like how could we support them more? And then, obviously one of my team's dream projects would be to do just an amazing boutique resort in Mexico or Latin America where, it was unreasonable hospitality, and there's lots of restaurants that are very curated, and the experience is, just like something you don't ever really want to leave. I also have a home of 25 kids that we support in Thailand. And so my family and I just went there this summer, and it's exciting to see how some of them are going to college and their lives are changing. So really it's kind of all over the board when I say 30 countries, but we want to leave an impact. Our biggest challenge, and I'm not alone in this, I think is just the uncertainty in everything, in the world, in our country, like across everything. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm working up against, right? As a business owner and, as a boss, as, with employees, like when work feels, unsettled, I think the bigger issue is that there's so much uncertainty. And so, I've been working with my coach on just how can you create more certainty in the world or within our companies and our clients when it feels like nothing is certain. And so I think working against that, I think that's also affects business. It affects how people are comfortable spending their money, not spending their money. Really, it trickles down all the way in so many ways. It's focusing on things like you have control over, right? Like it's focusing on what do you have control over today? And for me, it could be I have control over my space at home and spending time with my family. That's what gives me certainty when everything else feels uncertain. Or when it comes to clients, we are ordering products like earlier than we would have because we don't want to have, experience these additional expenses that we can't control. So like really kind of looking at what are the levers that we can pull and make decisions quicker and know, okay, it's going to cost us this much, but at the end of the day, we might save $50,000 by ordering ahead of time. So it's really like making the decisions based on the facts that Like I always say, like knowledge is power. And so what is the knowledge that we have today? And what are those things that we can confidently make decisions on? One of the things that my husband and I work together, and so he's always said, hey, I want to design airplanes. And I, sometimes think, well, how boring. But one of the things that we have had a chance to do this year is a private airplane hangar. And so that's been really, really fun, just a whole new space. I've kind of personally jumped in and helped my team work on this. And I think that's, aviation and design is an area that we're looking at growing and taking and doing more private hangars. This last year, I went to Morocco, and that was just one of my favorite places. I've always been really inspired by, just the Middle East culture and that area of the world. And Moroccan design has always just been really intriguing from it's so detailed from the tile and all of the color. And so I had a chance to go with 11 other designers and talk about a trip of a lifetime. We're firms all over the country. And we travel once a year to different places. And so we used to all work with the same coach, and we've just remained friends and made this as a priority that we get to travel the world together. And it was our first big international trip. In May, we're going to Provence, another one of my favorite places. So, when you're with 11 other people who love the same, we can talk business, we, have the same experiences, we enjoy the same things. It's really just an amazing, amazing opportunity. That Spanish was my first language, and now I don't speak. As my kids remind me, Mom, you cannot speak Spanish. You don't know anything. So that's always a contention in my house. And also, I am pretty good at winging things. Like you could throw anything at me, and I have learned how to be comfortable in the uncomfortable and stretch myself and just throw. Like if someone said, hey, you need to throw a party in the next 45 minutes, I'm in. Let's do it.